Hello and welcome to the BI WizKid YouTube channel. In this video we're going to look at real-time analytics within Power BI. Now there are a number of ways to do this, but in this particular video we're going to look at Azure Stream Analytics and connected a streaming dataset to Power BI from scratch. Our special guest Greg Chesterton is going to take us through the whole process, show us the details in which he went to in terms of creating his event hub and creating a Stream Analytics dataset ready for Power BI to consume and showcase our data in real time. Now if you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and please like, share and comment on the video. Now without further ado, let's get into this. Real-time reporting with Azure Stream Analytics within Power BI coming right up now. Hashtag Bob.
I've been working for How To for a couple of years now, and about a year into my time at How To, a bit of a new project came along where a UK-based ambulance service needed to better understand their performance of their fleet into as near real time as possible. They wanted to understand vehicles that were on scene, where they were, the location of the vehicles, and any that were out of service and where they were as well. So that's the background of the problem that we needed to solve last year. The solution for that, we came up with some near real-time data was available. So every 2 minutes we had data. So we built a Power BI suite of dashboards that were using near real-time data. So using push data sets, we're going to go into the detail of some of the different real-time options you have, but one of them is using the push data set. So we use that with an Azure automation run bit that has some PowerShell script. We then use the logic app to schedule that push on an ongoing basis. So every 2 minutes that was running and pushing data into Power BI. So the real-time data then, so within Power BI you have for streaming data, real streaming as you call it, there are 3 options, but overall I think to achieve real-time data there's actually 4. So the 3 streaming options are push data sets, as I just mentioned before, PubNub, Azure Stream Analytics, which is what the demo is going to be based on today. So today we'll be going through, we've got some data and we're in real time, and we're going to literally take that today and present that in real time. So starting from scratch today, obviously the data's already there, which is great for us. And that's the demo for today. And then there's also one that I want to touch on as well, which is probably underused, I'd say, is a direct query, the 1 second visual or page refresh that's available with the premium node. So a little bit about each of them before I get into the demo today. So for push data sets, you can push data into Power BI on a regular basis. Another benefit is it can be done on premises, not using Azure. It's good for updating data, as in that example from last year, near real time. However, some of the drawbacks of it are that it needs some understanding of PowerShell or equivalent. So as a BI developer myself, I come from a primarily data background. PowerShell isn't my game necessarily. I used some of it for this project last year with the help from one of our developers, but it does need some of that help, definitely. And also you need some additional resource, so a logic app if you're in Azure, or maybe an on-premise task scheduler. If there's any questions at any point, please put them in the chat as well. I'll be happy to answer them at the end. Okay, so direct query. So this one, automatic page refresh, only available when using the Power BI premium node. So if you've got a direct query data set now running already, you can turn that on so the page is refreshing up to every 1 second immediately. So it's really easy to be switched on. And in fact, I'd recommend trying to use it. The problem with it is the latency in the refresh. It can be a bit slower than some of the streaming stuff that we're going to show today, definitely. And a benefit of it is, though, that you can have the reports, so not just the dashboard layout, so a nice report layout updated in real time, not just the dashboard, meaning you've got greater flexibility with it. Okay, moving on to Azure Stream Analytics. So really this is, for me, I love it. You get lightning fast refreshes on Power BI dashboards. You can quickly bring data in from IoT devices, telemetry devices, or business applications, which is a more normal use case, if you like. Another benefit is within Stream Analytics, as you'll see in a minute, has an easy access SQL-like query language. So as I said, for your BI developer, seeing something that looks like SQL, much better than PowerShell, much easier to use. You can also plug machine learning straight into it as well. I'll show you quick. I'm not going to go into a real demo of that, but I'll show you quickly how you can do that or start to do that today. And it's reliable and scalable and all the benefits that you get with Azure as well. Okay then, so just moving on to the architecture for today. So we have a source. So what we've got, I can't show you the real customer demo that I did last year, and obviously it's a slightly different architecture. So for the source data, we've got an application running in the background that's just pushing data into Azure Event Hubs. Azure Event Hubs is basically an ingestion engine within Azure that can take data in from multiple sources and then push them out to and store them, and then things such as Stream Analytics and pick them up from Event Hubs or Cosmos DB, whatever, any of the Azure data services can really pick it up from there. I'm not an expert on Azure Event Hubs by any means, but as an overview, that's what it does. And then what we're going to be doing, we're going to be using Azure Stream Analytics to then do some transformation of that data, very basic transformation today, and push that data into Power BI in real time. And of course, we're going to visualize, as we know, using Power BI, which we all know and love. All right then. So I'm going to now move on to sharing into the demo. Okay, so a bit of an overview of what we're going to be doing. Basically, we've got some dummy data, as I said before, where we've got data cars going around Bradford, so we're getting the speed of the car, the fuel of the car, and the latitude and longitude, so location as some data that we can then visualize in a Power BI report and ultimately dashboard as well. So we've already got the Event Hub set up. We're now going to do the Stream Analytics part to Power BI. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start in the Azure portal, really easy. And I'm going to just go ahead and create a Stream Analytics job. I'm going to take a look at my existing ones. I've already got some where I've been testing this week, and I'm going to add a new job there. So I'm going to give the job a name, really simple, GPS test. I'm going to call it GPS test 4. Assign it to a resource group, and streaming units, I'm just going to put it down to 1. You don't need that. That's obviously scalable based upon how much data you have flowing through. When you get to about 80% utilization, they say that's when you should start to up your streaming units. You don't want to be above that. There's documentation, as you can see there, more about that if you need to find out more. So we're going to go ahead and create that now, that Stream Analytics job. That won't take long at all, the deployment of that. So I'm just going to have a quick drink. Fantastic. So I'm going to go to that resource within Azure, and this is where the fun begins. So immediately, some of you will be seeing your SQL language there, which is obviously a plus. So where you do most of your work within here is within your job topology. So you have inputs, functions, query, and outputs. So we're going to start with the input, our input data. So get really simple, click on your inputs, add stream input. And as I said before, our data is coming from Event Hub. There are some other inputs you can have, IoT Hub and blob storage, as well as some reference inputs such as a SQL database, which you can have updated up to every 1 minute. So I'm going to choose Event Hub. I'm going to give it a name, so GPS test 4 again, just for continuity. I'm going to use, so I've already got a Event Hub there, usually existing one, GPS test, select that one, and then we should be good to go. So giving it a name, selected the Event Hub that we're using, and that's all I'm going to use. I'm not going to go much further than that and get into the detail of any of those settings there. So that's going to add the input very quickly. It won't take long to set up at all. It will pop in, and now if it doesn't, I'm going to move on to the output. There we go, it's there. Super. So we've got our input, so that's great. We've got some data coming in, but we now want to obviously push that into Power BI. So to do that is really simple again. So we just go to our outputs, add an output, and as you can see, it's really good. You can see lots of different outputs. You can stream data straight into a SQL database if you need to, Azure Synapse Analytics, whatever it is you want to do there. So obviously we're choosing Power BI today. So first thing we need to do is authorize. So I'm just going to log in. Factor authentication, so bear with me. Yeah. And then once I've logged in, you're pretty much ready to go. So let's just, yeah, stay signed in. That's great. So I'm going to give another name for it, an alias for it. So GPS test 4. I'm going to call this one output though at the end of it. Choose a workspace. So I've already set up a demo workspace for today. So select any of your Power BI workspaces there. Dataset name, I'm going to call it Stream Analytics GPS test 4. Oh, 4. There we go. Table name, real-time data. And then we're going to go ahead and save that there. So this is just going to add the output there, and there we go. We've got it immediately. So what then what we can do, this is where I'm not going to go into the detail of this, but you can start to bring in functions, including that from, so say you've got an Azure Machine Learning Studio, you can bring in some of that data, you can run data through Machine Learning Studio, through your model, and then output it again in real time into Power BI. It's really, really powerful, but we're not going to go into detail of that, but it's just there so you know where it is within your functions. So now we've got our inputs and outputs, we need to essentially write the query to actually do that. Writing that query isn't exactly difficult. So as you can see, it's selecting star into from your input. So our input's obviously GPS test 4. See them on the left hand side here as well if you need to, what the names of them are if you've forgotten. GPS test output is coming from, and I do have some transformation that I prepared earlier that I'm just going to bring into here rather than write this. Something to note, this isn't SQL, it's a SQL-like language, so you can't do all the things you can do in SQL, but it is very similar in terms of syntax and that sort of thing, but it's not the same. And then let me just bring my where criteria across as well. There we go. So I'm just going to test that query, and then we'll see some test results come through. That's great. So you can see we've got some test results there, which is a good start, and then I'm just going to save that. Okay then, so now we've got, this is our Stream Analytics job, it's set up, it's ready to go. So all we need to do is go to the overview and just click start on that. So that's now going to be pushing data into that data set. It takes about 30 seconds sometimes to start running into that Power BI data set now. So while it does that, I'm going to bring up our report templates ready to bring some data in and start building a report out in Power BI from that data. And then once we've done that, I'm going to publish the report up to the Power BI service, and you'll see the dashboard updated in real time. I might create some real-time tiles as well if we get time. So I'm just going to bring in the Power BI templates there. So these are, just so you're aware of what you're looking at here, these are the Cloud 2 Power BI templates. As a developer, I love them. You'll see in a minute, it just makes my development time so much easier and so much faster to develop reports up. I can think about design and move them, but I don't have to. It's all done, and some really good best practice within there. So I'm just going to flick back and see if that started, that job. Not just yet, so I do need that to start. What I will show you in the meantime as another quick example is I'm going to be going to a completely different subject, but I'm going to do it very quickly. So direct query, page refresh. There's some documentation here as to how you do it, but it's really simple. So at the bottom of your page settings, you can see actually for a direct query, page refresh every 1 second. You can change it to be up to every 1 minute. Really, really easy to do if you've got that set up. Okay, I think that started. Let me just check. Oh, wrong one. Let's get, still starting that one. There we go. Good timing. Right, so I'm going to go back into our templates now, and I'm going to get the data. So get data, Power BI data set, and we're going to search for the data. GPS test 4. I just created it. I'm going to create that there. Super. So we've got that now coming in. So what I'm going to do is for a report, I'm going to look at a map and a few visuals, a few dummy visuals around that too. So first things first, let's bring in the registration plate so we can see the different vehicles. I'm going to bring in a latitude and a longitude. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Change them to don't summarize. There we go. So at the moment you can see that set for, you can see the journey that has gone on so far, these cars. So I'm just going to put a filter on this visual so we can only see the most recent step. Basically, I don't want to see all of them. I just want to see where it is right now, or the most recent data, which is pretty much right now. So there you go. You can see where those vehicles are right now. Then I'm going to go in and build, I don't know, let's see, is a vehicle available? Let's put some values in there. Let's put some dummy data in there just to play around. Legend there. And again, I'm just going to put the same criteria on that again. So it's only bringing back the latest record. I don't want to bring back everything. Like so. And then what I'll do populate a couple of cars real quick. Let's go for latest time. So that'll give you the latest updates. You can see, oh, there's some odd time in there. And then let's go for, I don't know, let's do a count of IDs so you can see how many records are in there. Let's not do a sum, let's do a count. So as we're going through the demo, you'll see them going up as the records are being input into this Power BI data set. I'm going to put some filters on it quickly as well. So I'll put the time filter on there. So the date filter a bit pointless, but we'll put it in there anyways. Fuel level, car ID, and then the registration plate as well. And then what we'll do in this visual, let's do a little line graph so we can see speed by registration plate. There we go. Let's do that over time, as obviously we're let's do it this way around. There we go. It's a bit more realistic. Some odd looking data there. As you can see, it is some dummy data, so we're going straight from 50 down to 30, but it is what it is. So let's bring some data into this table as the last one. Then we'll get on to publishing and seeing it refreshing in real time. Let's put latest time in there, ID, put some random data in there. There we go. We've got a matrix of data. Doesn't mean anything, but it's good. And let's finally just give the report a title. Call it vehicle tracking. There we go. That's great. So now our report set up, you can see how quickly that was to do with the templates as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish that. I need to save the report first, obviously. And then publishing it to my demo workspace again. While that does it, I'm just going to have a little drink. Again, any questions, please put them in the chat. That's great. So I'm now going to switch back to Power BI now. So I'm going to go to access my report. Where's it gone? There we go. I should have given it a better name. There we are. So here's my report. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pin this to a dashboard so we can see it updated in real time. Dashboard name, going to give it the same name as my report. Vehicle check-in. Yep, pin that to the dashboard. Pin that one to the dashboard as well. Yep, and let's pin this one. And then this one just to build out a little bit of a dashboard there. So let's go to my dashboard now. So immediately now you can start to see, let's arrange it, you can start to see the data updating, which is fantastic. So you can see these points, these cars just moving out, so you can see where they are in real time and where they're moving to as well. What might have been useful is to put some labels on that map. So this is actually Bradford, it is the north, and then you can see the ID there is going up as we go, and this donut chart will also be changing. Last thing I'll do is create a couple of different types of tiles. So obviously I've gone into the report to create some real-time data there. You don't need to do that if you want a slightly more slicker approach to the real-time tiles update. As you can see, there's a bit of a flip on that. I'm going to show you how to do that very quickly as well. So really simple. Once you're in your dashboard, add tile, custom streaming data. Next, I'm going to select that data set, the one I've set up today. And I'm going to say, hey, let's do it hard to begin with. Add the value. Going to be some meaningless data here, guys. I do warn you, but let's go for ID. Let's see what that gives us. So that's just giving us go through some random IDs. So you can see how much faster that is updated and how fast the data is updated. It's quite nice. Again, doesn't really mean anything, but it's good to see actually the difference between the two tiles. So you've got that little lightning strike there as well. And then finally, I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. Move this one over here. And put one more visual here before we end the demo. And this one's going to be a nice line chart, I think, this time. So I'm going to select the visualization type to be a line chart. Axis, let's go for latest time, and let's add a value to that as well. Should we go for speed? Oh, that's odd. I've got a nice little error message there. I'm going to refresh the page in a minute. That will normally fix it. And then go for legend by registration plate. So let's go for that and supply that, see if we get any luck. If that doesn't work, that is odd, but it looks like there's a small error going on. But let's see. There we go. As I've refreshed the page, you can then see, oops, the data updated in real time. Your graph moving along in real time, showing data for the last minute. There we go. And here's your real-time dashboard. So now you can go through and see where the vehicles are in real time, where they're moving to, and what they're doing. Okay, I'm just going to move back into the presentation shortly and then wrap up. There we go. So the future of real time, quite frankly, we don't know what that is. There's been some features removed from the release plan, so the support for streams of data as an input source, or maybe bypassing the stream analytics step that might have been in the pipeline, not sure. But looking through the documentation that Microsoft has provided, there's nothing planned for real time, but I think the capabilities that we've got now are really exciting and really useful. And that's it from me. So thank you all for listening, and I hope that was useful.